welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup, coming at you live from beautiful Bangkok, Thailand. We are on our last match of the day, which is super exciting, but before we get to that, let's take a look at how the other matches went, shall we? First up, Denmark went against Australia, and Denmark took it 3-1. China took it versus Thailand 3-2. Australia went up against Sweden, and Australia took it 4-0. Denmark went up against China 3-2 China, and now we are on our last matchup, Spain versus Sweden. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the standings since things have been shaken up today just a bit. The top 3 teams each have 3 wins, which are China, Australia, and Denmark, which means really there's not much shaken up that can happen, but there's still another day of Overwatch happening tomorrow, which will be exciting. But before we get into that, I'm just getting ahead of myself. We have one more match. Like I said, we have Spain over here, and we have Sweden over here, which means that these boys are ready to play. Are you ready to watch it? Because I know I am. So let's kick it over to our radcasters, Bren and Sideshow.
Thank you very much, Mika. Yes, it is indeed Bren and Sideshow once again. And, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match in general, Josh. I think it's going to be a good one. Either way, one of these teams is going to be walking away with a win today.
That's true, and it will be their first win of this World Cup group stage in Bangkok, because we've got 3 teams at the moment, as you just saw in the standings that Mika presented you with, that have 0 match wins so far. And Sweden are currently only sat on 1 map win as well. They have had a difficult time. You've got to add that caveat. They've played against Australia and China, 2 of the teams that are currently sat at the top of the group. So it's been a little difficult for Sweden so far, but we were expecting more from them. There's no way of sugarcoating it. We weren't expecting them to be 0-2 straight away in the group.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So, I mean, this is an opportunity for them to maybe redeem themselves, come back a little bit again against Spain. I mean, yesterday we would have considered Sweden to be, I guess, the favorites in this matchup here, but now we're sat here looking at these 2 teams, Spain versus Sweden. We don't really know who's going to be winning this one.
Spain we expected to not do that well in this World Cup. It's a roster that has a number of very experienced players, but they're all support players. But they have found a composition that works pretty well with them, playing around Line Pro's Brigitte. On the other side, Sweden, full of experienced talent. They have the most OWL players out of any of the teams here at Bangkok, and it has not been paying off for them so far. There is something that hasn't quite clicked for Team Sweden, it seems, and they are looking a little disjointed. Individually, they're not performing as well, so this is their point to start rallying back. They have to win basically everything by 4-0s if they want to get to BlizzCon now.
Absolutely. Well, map number 1 is going to be Nepal, the pre-selected map of choice between these 2 squads, Spain versus Sweden. I'm going to be getting into it shortly. The players are all loaded in and are about to set themselves off on the map. It's going to be Village, I believe, is the first section here. So anything out of the ordinary so far, Josh?
Well, I just wanted to note that both of these 2 teams play a lot of triple tank, triple support. But Spain play by far the most Tracer out of any of the teams in the tournament. So I think we'll be seeing Sweden reading that and playing a ton of Brigitte themselves. A lot of Brigitte mirrored compositions I would expect over the course of this match, particularly as we start out here on Nepal Village, where you've got a very enclosed point, which is great for these Reinhardt compositions. And Reinforce is renowned for his Reinhardt play. Is his name Reinforce or Reinforce?
I know that annoys him. You don't want to be saying that one out loud, but here we have it. The game is kicking off. Immediately Spain are going to be taking a high ground, whereas Sweden opting to just rotate straight onto the point. Spain might be trying to get straight into the action. Again, they're just playing quite aggressively round this corner, using it for cover, just swinging. Trying to build up those ultimates, going for the charges there. Not quite connecting. Network's not going to be getting too much value out of that one. For now, no casualties. Both teams just healing up, waiting for it. Sweden currently with the positional advantage on this team fight. And again, the point unlocks in Sweden's favor. So they immediately cap it up. So far, no one falling to prey. No one really getting baited out of this choke.
Think of the ultimates though, that charged so early because they've just been slapping into each other this entire time. Reinforce over the top. That was decent, but the Graviton comes straight back in. Sucks everyone in for Team Spain. The follow-up almost there, but instead just got Reinforce and 3 kills.
Yeah, very little follow-up off the back of those ultimates. Now Spain are just on clean-up duty. They should easily be able to find the rest of these kills on these players. And I mean, It's a slow start, it felt like, to that match, really. Sweden, they managed to get the cap off in the end, but Spain are now sitting on a very decent ultimate advantage. They didn't end up using their Graviton Surge in that last fight.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, Sharp managed to get up to 70% again, and while he's putting out a lot of damage, that grab did not work for them at all. I think bringing everybody towards your Reinhardt player who's just been juggled out of position, probably not the best idea, and didn't catch too many people, so now Sweden have to contest the high ground.
Well, we'll see. Johnny Larson is leading the charge, but charge comes in. Trying to go for the lot of force. Now the Soundbite is going to be used as well. That's a mid-air Graviton Surge. Connects onto all of them. Self-destruct in the mix. Are they going to be any casualties? Not quite. Going to be using those shields effectively. Not going to be taking too much damage. And now the Graviton Surge comes out from Sweden. Sharp, like you mentioned, Josh, built it up in a rapid fashion. And now Sweden should be retaking this one after the team fight is done and dusted.
Two absolutely weird Gravitons coming out from both teams as Sharp picks up the last two. But Poppy Fresh launches a mid-air Graviton as the rest of his team is falling off the high ground. Catches players, yes, but Reinforce's shield is there the entire time, and Networks wasn't on the high ground to be able to pin him and take that shield out of the fight so that the Diva Bomb would be able to get those kills. So both of these teams at the moment not quite syncing up their abilities perfectly.
Oh, we'll see now. Network's going to be swinging around. Close to this Earth Shatter, going to be trying to make the play.
Great work.
There's the combo from Sweden. Stun into the Earth Shatter. That is textbook stuff. And Johnny's going to be happy with that one. Probably going to be ranting about it all night long. Won't hear the end of it if you're on Sweden, but
that's one of those textbook Brigitte, Reinhardt kind of coordinated abilities that you can pull off like clockwork. Use that one in your ranked games, guys. There's a little bit of communication and you can get the better end of it every single time. We'll see whether Spain can do the same kind of thing with Line Pro and Networks.
Yeah, the question is now, can they block this Earth Shatter coming out? As you mentioned, Josh, he's going to be looking for it now. I think they recognize it is there, pushing him back. They know the Earth Shatter's coming, so the Graviton Surge going to be unleashed a little bit early here. Can I get any kills on either side? Both Graviton Surges are actually going to be used there. And here comes the Earth Shatter down now. Johnny gets caught onto the ground. Be looking for a couple of more picks though. Charge across the map, but Networks will be the one falling anyway. Team Sweden was there to capitalize off the back of it. Now the South Stroke's going to be moving into the fray. Overtime for Team Sweden, and they are finding the picks off the back of it. The Transcendence a little bit slow, a little bit off the mark there for Spain. Not going to be able to keep these players up for now. Round number one is definitely looking like it's going away as Sweden.
Yeah, Spain have got a lot of players still in there, a lot of health, but they're going to get mopped up eventually. Sweden have got such a good position. Doesn't actually quite catch it there. That's not what he was going for, but another mid-air Graviton, and eventually Networks will go down.
Johnny, get into it, lads. There you go.
Back when Reinforce used to play for Rogue in 2016, when he was a pro player, we always used to watch his games and say, actually, that when he was fired up, he was a bit of like an emotional leader for the team. When he gets fired up, the rest of his team really seemed to go along with it.
Yeah.
And when he would sink down, the rest of the French players on his team at the time would also sink down with it. So I think in a lot of senses, the other guys on Team Sweden are not particularly charismatic. They're quiet guys. They sink in a little bit. If things are going wrong, they stop calling. They are going to have to rely on their main tank Reinforce to be that charismatic leadership type figure. He may not be doing all of the calling for them. I think Tvig also handles a lot of that work. But in terms of keeping the morale on track, that's what they need.
A good start for them. We'll see if Spain can turn this one around now. So rolling out with a bit of a different composition now. Sweden going to be keeping to the tried and tested Goats comp. Spain have switched it up a little bit. They're going to see what they can do. And their trademark Harry Hook Soldier 76. That is interesting. I don't know if that's the first time we've seen it in this tournament. But
I think it is, yeah.
It's a legendary role. He was known for this one. The guy's got superb tracking. We'll see what he can do now as he's just peppering away, I should say, on the high ground. Don't really let him get away with much. Now Network's going to be moving in as well on the Hammond, seeing if he can get any disruption going for them. But again, Sweden taking control of the point. But this time, Spain are trying to take the initiative. They're moving into them. Poppy Fresh going to get brought down in the end by Tvik on the Brigitte. They are finding a pick here and there. Still the point in nobody's control as it stands. Sweden are close to capping it out, and there we have it. It was a quick coalescence being built up by Chips, and he is going to be using it off just to finish off the remaining players of Spain.
Soldier 76 Tracer used to be an incredibly popular DPS duo. It's got a lot of damage output, and then you can also sync the dives up with your Tracer and your main tank, but that was before Brigitte was in the game. This composition is so difficult to play to what Sweden are running. Poppy Fresh has got to have just insane pulse bombs to be able to get around what Tvig's doing. it really is kind of countering themselves to be running this right now. They need unbelievable individual performance to be able to pull it off.
Poppy Fresh try and play the point a little bit here. I mean, he knows that Tvik had to use the shield bash there to contest up the point. The Pulse Bomb is waiting in hand. And like you said, Sideshow, it's got to be a big one at that. We'll see if he can even manage it. But for now, Spain look like they're just completely disengaging. They want nothing to do with this one. They recognize that they were losing that team fight. Sweden still going to be holding on 50% in hand.
A lot of bigger ultimates on the side of Sweden as well, which should allow them to tick time off the clock. If they want to take a fight aggressively here at the choke point, they certainly can with Sharp. Poppy Fresh just zips back onto the side. He's not willing to give his life up just yet. He'll wait until he looks at his victory.
Well, we'll see with this Graviton if Sharp can do anything. Poppy Fresh is being pressured pretty heavily. You're going to see the mines laid down as well onto the point, just forcing it back. Harry Hook with a nano boost and the tactical visor. He's getting no value out of it though. There's too much sustain, too many shields on the side of Sweden, and the networks just fall off the map. I don't know if he actually did. No, there he is. Just debated me. Okay,
it's all right.
How about it, lad?
Romas did, so you know, at least one of Team Spain's going down the well.
Graviton Surge was used as well by Sharp before he went down. And it should be, again, Sweden winning this in an overwhelming fashion. It's 90% and counting. Spain are really just not in the game right now.
Now, I think this is a big compositional failure from Spain. This is the issue with Spain,
This is the map, man. If none of them can touch the point, Poppy Fresh might be able to in the bag. 99%. Anyone on it?
No,
not quite. That's it.
But I think this is an issue that we have identified with Spain and why people didn't expect them to perform that well. They just don't. Wow, he is actually really good.
I've never seen Johnny this animated. Normally he's quite Swedish, but today is a different day. But he's pumped.
To return back to my point about Spain, they have players that don't have the deepest hero pools in the world. They are mostly support players, at least the players with experience, Dak, Line Pro, Harry Hook. And so these guys, when they're playing roles that aren't what they would typically play at the highest level, they don't have natural team compositions that they can fit into. Their triple tank, triple support has been decent this tournament. When they've played triple support with a solo DPS with Poppy Fresh on Tracer, it's been reasonably good as well. That's where they found most of their success. But just in general, you can see there that when they come up against something and they don't know how to deal with it, they tend to revert back to, you know, 2016, which it's not 2016.
It's not 2016. I mean, I'm not too sure what year it is most of the time, but I'm pretty sure it is not 2016. I mean, are we in closed beta Overwatch? Not quite. Brigitte exists.
That was 2015, but all right. So confused.
You see what I mean?
So confused.
No, but this is promising for Sweden, man. I mean, I got to say, I was a little bit worried coming into this after they had a bit of a crushing defeat earlier on against Australia.
A very crushing defeat.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it in case anybody hasn't seen, but we just spoiled it anyway.
It was a crushing defeat. They lost.
Yeah, they lost. It was get over it, apparently, is what Josh is saying. This is promising for them because I know that the Swedish guys, the Swedes, well, they were feeling a little bit down after that loss, you know, but this is where it's at. You've got to turn it around here. They've got to start pulling off some 4 Overwatch if they want an opportunity to qualify for BlizzCon.
They definitely do. They would have been expected coming into this stage to easily deal with Spain. Honestly, more experience, higher individual skill level, deeper hero pools, more strategic depth behind them. And it's only the fact that they underperformed against both China and Australia that has put the doubt in our minds, the fans' minds, potentially their minds as well, that they might not be able to take it to teams like Spain or Denmark. But they have to start winning, as you say. And we're off to Numbani. The next one is going to be Spain's pick.
Big fan of Numbani. What about yourself?
Yeah, I do actually really like it. I'm sure you have some utterly ridiculous reason, but I like it for its strategic depth on point.
Okay. That's a nerdy answer.
It really is. I am a nerd at heart.
I was actually surprised by how much energy you were giving into that answer then. You seemed really eager to tell me how much you like Numbani.
I really do like Numbani. I love the design of the map.
I saw you light up when I asked you the question.
I love the design of the map because you can get big value out of long-range throws because there's large sightlines all across point A. And you can also get really big value out of heroes like Anna because she can be positioned on the high ground.
Yeah.
Mobile, tanky heroes are also very good, so we're unlikely to see a lot of triple tank, triple support. It's a very well-designed map, in my opinion, that lends itself to a lot of strategic depth.
Well,
so there you go.
Take a bow, whoever designed Numbani.
It's over.
Nerd time over. Joshua Wilkinson.
I'm back in jock
singing the praises. Chad mode, apparently. Look at you, absolute unit.
Yeah, says the one whose biceps are barely being contained by the fabric around his arms.
I've rolled them up now. There's no chance, mate. These guns cannot be contained, apparently. But we're getting into the match. Numbani is beginning. Josh looking at me with a deflated
look at despair.
Look at despair. Yeah.
Sweden on the attack then, and they're starting with the Sombra and the Soldier 76. So you'd expect Chipsina Sharp to try and take control of the high ground on the top left. And Tvik, okay, he was just checking what's going on then. And because Poppy Fresh is running the Tracer, he's opted for the Brigitte.
Okay. Well, we'll see what they can get done here. And it is an interesting one at that. Like you were saying, those long-range damage dealers, like the Soldier 76, start to see a bit of play time when it suits the map design. And we'll see Sweden looking to see if they can get any control over the high ground right now. Sharp's just trying to force a couple of the players off onto the low ground. Around that choke point, done a successful job so far.
Nice cover with Tweak on the Brigitte. Keeping it shielded means that Reinforce doesn't have to use his shield. He can go aggressive instead, but fortunately that hasn't worked out for him just yet.
Yeah,
but
that was that kill onto Reinforce just then was right back into their own choke point. I think Spain recognized that it was like the slow siege coming out from Sweden. Had an opportunity to capitalize it by jumping onto their back line, but here we have it. Spain also looking to try and take the fight straight to them. Networks leaps up, uses the bubble. It's going to be taking away a couple of the damage dealing abilities of Spain, but they're still, or Sweden I should say, going to be keep slamming the shot into them, and they got nothing to really contest Sharp here. He's just really peppering them from the high ground.
Yeah, they did better when Reinforce wasn't in the game.
If you are Spain in this situation though, Josh, what would you like to see them be doing?
They have to just play the point and play the high ground and try and avoid damage coming out from Sharp. Because if they try and dive it, he's got to bring it to there with it. So it was just great execution from Sweden to be able to get up on the high ground, and Spain weren't coordinated enough to be able to knock them off. They should have had somebody flanking, get Poppy Fresh in behind. Now they're in a bit of dire straits, but Networks could do big damage.
He's Nana boosted up, he's Primal Rage, and maybe he's looking for a couple of kills, but he's not going to find them. Brought straight down. Manatee takes him out of the fight. Sharp going to be sleeping on the job on the high ground. Got Looney there though for the heals, and now to Big. He wants action. He's going to be diving straight into the back line. Just slams Harry Hook into the corner, turns into a jumbled mesh of electronics, but there we have it. Sweden are going to finally unlock the control point. It was slow, it was patient. I like it, methodical.
It definitely was. They took control of the high ground. It's very difficult to dive up there when Tweak is on the Brigitte, and they also have Sharp on the Soldier 76. But when they got that pick on Reinforce, that should have been the sign for everyone to go aggressive. Your supports can push up at that point because you know there's not going to be a counter dive from anybody else. They should have taken all of that free space that Sweden were unable to control, and instead they just sat there and played the patient game. So if you play slow like this, Sweden have all the pieces to be able to make it work.
I know there's a couple of composition changes here. Sharp's moved over to the McCree as well, presumably as well, and they've got one extra little threat against Poppy Fresh on the Tracer, alongside Tvik on the Brigitte. Dodges the flashbang for the time being. He might be looking to try and get a kill or two with this pulse bomb. Lays it down, doesn't actually connect onto any targets. I think he dealt a little bit of damage to Reinforce, but ultimately not enough to really get the kill, and it looks like Sweden are just going to be steamrolling this one forward with their picks.
And Poppy Fresh goes down again to Brigitte. He does play a good Tracer, but you can't play Tracer into Brigitte all of the time.
Now.
Yeah, and he doesn't play many other heroes in contenders. He has been kind of a breakthrough new Spanish player in terms of his Tracer performance, but now's the time to really broaden your hero pool and see what you're able to do. Sweden now going aggressive, taking the initiative, making sure no recontest can come in.
Yeah, and I mean, Poppy Fresh, he's now moved over to the Sombra, but even still against the lineup that Sweden are running, it's still not ideal. You got the McCree with the flashbang, you got Tvik with the Brigade shield bash, a lot of stuns available to them, and now he switched over to the Zarya. So yeah, I'm a bigger fan of this composition at least. Now you've got the bubbles to try and defend Networks, at least with a bit more mitigation, but we'll see what he can do. Now the Sancho is going to be used by Spain, and they're trying to lead the charge. That's going to force out the Transcendence out of Chips. He wants to try and keep his team alive, but too little too late. Manatee gets demecked. Now they're not going to have that defense matrix to suck up a lot of this damage, but Sweden looking to still continue forward. Vic using that rally as well, giving his team a lot of armor. Chips is sitting on a tasty amount of HP right now. Ryan Pro moving forward as well. Gets forced down, and Johnny's going to be winning that Ryan duel. Winning the 1v1, and there's nothing to contain him. The man can just start going absolutely ham, swinging away. Sweden do not seem like they can be stopped right now, Josh.
No, it's a great setup from them. That rally from Tweak really came in handy. Spain are about to get some big ultimates, but the momentum is so high. I love this aggression, though, coming out from Reinforce. He needs to get people as far back as possible.
He's got a shatter. He's going to be looking for opportunities to use it now. He's holding it so far forward onto this point. Shadow's still available. High Noon's going to be forcing the positioning. Gets the D-Mech with it. Now let's see what Johnny can do. The stun, the bash, that was a bit of miscommunication. They're not getting anything, and Sharp just got a 3K in the back line. Now the Shatter doesn't get anything. Just a zoning Shatter, by the way, but the charge is going to come out anyway. Trying to spice Spain, trying to keep them up. too much damage by the side of Sweden. They are absolutely blitzering through. And the Barney, that's a quick round by them.
And I've no idea what happened to Papa Fresh's Graviton as well. Did you see it in the midst of that fight? Maybe Manitic gobbled it up. I was too busy looking at the Reinhardt battle.
I missed it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the key mistake there from Spain, I think, apart from whatever happened to the Graviton, was that they weren't able to execute that Brigitte stun into the Earth
Yeah,
Shadow.
that was the misplay.
As you noticed, we were on Reinforce's point of view, and he got juggled to the side, almost kind of out of the range of the Earth Shadow, got kind of twisted to the side weirdly. So Spain had a great opportunity there to defend, but Sweden timing their aggression at the right time to be able to push this one forwards. And I think this is Sweden settling more comfortably into a game that they're familiar with. They've been playing against Australia and China, who are aggressive teams. Play a lot of Pharah.
Absolutely.
Don't play a lot of tanks and Brigitte compositions unless you force them to. And Sweden are a little slower and not as coordinated, it seems, in this World Cup in particular. So now they're finding their footing at a slightly slower pace where they can control the tempo of the game.
Well, they've got to keep it going if they want to stand a chance of qualifying for BlizzCon at the end of this event. They do have an opportunity here today. This match is the one that matters. Both these teams, Spain and Sweden, a reminder to the people at home that neither team has actually won a match yet in this World Cup group. So both teams are going to be looking for their first win.
And Sweden have just doubled their map win count as well with that first map. They now have 2 on the board. They have a really bad map differential at the moment. And even if they win the next 3 matches, they're still going to be tied with whoever's in second place, whether that be Australia, China, or Denmark at the end. So they absolutely need that map differential to be as beefy as possible if they want to go to BlizzCon.
Well, we'll see what they can do. Sweden will be on the defense. Spain going to be coming out the gates now. And it's Papa Fresh on the Soldier 76. So again, hit scan roll, something that he's comfortable with, but they're going to probably be going for a similar attempt of what Sweden did. Maybe the slow siege from the high ground, we'll see.
I agree, absolutely, but Sweden have got a more aggressive composition on their end. They can scout it out, and they can start to dive with speed as soon as they see it.
What a nade, man! Straight into the back line. Tavik says, hello, goodbye. You can try and body block me, but the rest of my team's going to be man's backing. Tavik's rocket punching his way to victory. He's already got 2 kills off the back of that.
You're not watching Team UK.
Man's backing, isn't
I don't know what the Swedish slang is, actually, but maybe we need
Valfart.
Valfart, yes. I don't think that's slang so much as just national pride.
National pride and the welfare, yeah.
There you go.
There you have it.
But Spain, can't quite execute exactly the same as Sweden did this time around because Tavik is such a threat. He can just rocket punch Line Pro when he comes up there. The Brigitte is not a big deal to the
I really like this pick. I really do. Like, if Spain try and do the exact same thing that Sweden did, Tavik is ready. Like that little narrow corridor is perfect for his rocket punch ability. He can get an insta-kill on any 200 HP target. It's going to be golden. Well, Spain looking to see if they can take a different approach. Both the tanks going to be poking away at that top left area. The hack's coming out, though, and now they might be in a dangerous situation. Tavik going to be using all of his abilities. He can't quite get out of there. That's a mistake.
Definitely a mistake. When the rocket punch first missed, don't think he should have gone for the seismic slam inwards. Instead, he used it to retreat. Maybe he thought that he was going to be real behind him from Manitic. But now Sweden have to go aggressive. It's all on Reinforce's back with the Nano Boost pressuring forward. They need to get these picks here, otherwise it's bad news.
Well, can they bring down networks? We're going to see that transcendence used by Spain as well, just to heal them up. Reinforce's got to try and at least get some disconnect at least going on here for them, but Papa Fresh is going to be using our tactical advice. He's got the Nano Boost applied on top of it, not finding the pick. Sweden seem to be coming out on top.
They do, and I think credit to their tank line there of Reinforced Manitin to be able to go forwards, apply pressure, force out those support ultimates, and then it was Sharp who came in afterwards and got that initial pick onto Harry Hook, and Spain didn't quite know whether to go forwards or backwards.
Well, here's the thing, Josh, as well. What needs to be done now by Spain? What composition changes do you want to see to deal with this?
One of the composition changes that you could run is something like a Pharah, or you would want to run something with slightly more burst damage, like a McCree perhaps on the high ground instead of the Soldier 76, but I don't know whether they have that in the hero pools. Instead, Papa Fresh back on his trademark tracing.
We'll see what I can do. So far, no one on Spain actually falling down. Tavik was putting in a decent amount of damage. Lovely sleep by Ludi. He dropped it onto him, but now he's stuck in between 2 of the players, and this could be disastrous for Sweden right now as Spain are taking a big chunk out of them. Kills flowing on either side right now. It's even trades all around. They're going to get the D-Mech as well onto Manitin. Forced to use the South to truck. Now Ludi. Oh my goodness. Well, I should say Sharp is going to get focused down pretty convincingly. Spain manage to crack the defense.
Yep, and they don't make any major changes to their composition. Instead, they just execute a fairly clean dive onto the supports from Sweden. And I've noticed this throughout the World Cup so far, is that Sweden are really quite bad at protecting their backline at the moment. Jitain and Ludi are getting dived repeatedly against a number of teams. Against this is happening against China, massively against China in fact, and also against Australia, where Sweden's supports were just dying left, right and center. Whether the communication is missing or the feel is not there, something is going wrong when Sweden are up against aggressive teams. So Spain could definitely benefit from turning up the tempo.
Let's see what Sharp can do now. He's going to be scouting a little bit on the Sombra, moving behind him with the EMP as well. Probably going to try and unleash it on a couple of players, but he did not get away with it. I think he tried to go for that, but Line Pro was too quick on his feet. Stuns him up, brings him down, and now the rest of the team Spain can just jump straight into the fray, start bringing them down one at a time.
A bit too greedy from Sharp there, perhaps gets detected and shield bashed by Line Pro's Brigitte, which has been pretty good all tournament. It's been one of the shining stars for Spain. Something they've really built the team around has been Line Pro on this Brigitte.
Back as well.
Yeah, and Sweden are going to stick with this composition.
He was originally on the Brigitte, and he switched over to the Doomfist now. So, I mean, right now Spain have got a lot of ultimates to work with. 2 defensive support ults. Sweden got to go aggressive here if they want any opportunity. Probably Press gets stunned against the wall, has to recall. Use his pulse bomb, but didn't get any value out of it whatsoever. Now we're going to see a bunch of ultimates being used here as Sweden look to try and contest this point. They did bring down Networks. That's the main tank down. See what else they can do here, but Harry Hook seems to be clutching this one out. Takes out one of the off tanks. Now Reinforced forced to use that primal raise, seeing if he can look around a couple of these players. Push them back into the team here. Tavik forced to back off, falling very, very low. Reinforced is going to be falling as well. Now the self-destruct to the back. Tavik goes down. It looks like Spain should be edging out this team fight in their favor. They will indeed come out. 3 minutes on the clock for them. This is honestly a little bit worrying for Sweden. I feel like they should be able to adapt a little bit faster to what Spain are running at here, because they are making no attempts to change up their composition in the slightest.
Well, they just have, but going back to that previous fight, I think that their engagement was actually perfectly fine. But Tavik on the Doomfist in a big brawl like that has to be finding a couple of hits. And nothing came out. The stick there.
Oh my goodness! Bobby Breast deleting Reinforced with that one. Spain playing super aggressive into them. Dak getting a boop off the map, I believe, onto Ludi. I was actually just behind them, but they're still going to be able to move this one forward. Networks using the primal rage. A lot of ultimates being used by Spain to try and push this one forward. Sweden do have one more defense available to them, but that was a great initiation by Poppy Rush.
It definitely was. Great pulse bomb there onto the main tank. Sweden, with both of their defensive support ultimates though, it becomes more of a game now of what can Spain force out, because they're not expecting to win here unless they're very smart with their engages and disengages.
Oh, and there's a sound barrier going to be used. Now Sharp, Deadeye as well, collects a kill onto Poppy Fresh. See what else they can force out of them so far. A lot of members of Team Sweden are falling very low. Reinforced down to a sliver of HP. That's forced out a Transcendent. So still, honestly, an ideal situation for Spain.
2-to-1 exchange with defensive support ultimates. That's a great situation for Spain to be in. Dak's going to be way closer to his ultimate in a couple of seconds, half a minute perhaps. And when they get reinforcements, they can definitely go back in.
Gonna wait for a couple of these players right now, but it's coming almost to the end of this map. 1 minute, 25 seconds remaining here for Spain. What they can do, Poppy Crush is trying to build up another one of these pulse bombs. Network now back with the rest of his team. Now to rally from Line Pro. He's going to see if he can give his team a bit of extra armor. Sound Shock comes in. Are they going to stun him up? Yes, they will. Reinforces out of the fight. The rest of the team had to move away. Sharp using that Deadeye. See if he can get any value. Forcing them off the cart for now. Does get a lot of damage done onto Networks, I believe. The rest of his team's going to be finishing him off. But now it's time for Spain's to move in with that sound barrier. Line Pro has not died in a while apparently. He's on a 15-kill spree. And Spain seems to be absolutely running this one all the way to the bank. Reinforced, the only player left standing. Manitin cannot get on the cart quick enough. So Spain do manage to cap it out. They get a bit of time in the time bank as well. Not the end of the world for them, and it gives them an in this game.
It definitely does, but you've got to remember back and look at the time remaining difference. It's enormous. There's a 2-minute advantage here for Sweden because they were so strong on their offense. But Spain have definitely got back in the game, and I think they probably realized that you just have to play a bit more aggressive when you're against Sweden. I think it's a communication issue, honestly, from Sweden. They don't seem to respond very quickly to threats that come at them. So, for example, when Reinforced was under a lot of pressure there on the Reinhardt, they weren't able to back up quick enough. The ultimates weren't able to be used quickly enough as well, and he just got overwhelmed. So Sweden are constantly trying to slow down the pace of the game, it seems, where Spain will definitely benefit from playing more aggressively, playing around line pro, making sure that you abuse reinforces Reinhardt whenever he picks up that hero. A battle of different styles.
It is a battle of different styles, isn't it? Yeah, and you can definitely tell, I mean, we mentioned it before, but Sweden, they're matching up much better against a team like Spain compared to like China or Australia, these hyper-aggressive teams that seem to punish that miscommunication a lot more. But we'll soon see what Sweden is capable of now as the doors are going to open up. Spain on the attacking side, as you can see, Sweden we're going for a sneaky little play around the corner here. Hello, John.
Sharp scouted out on the Sombra as well, so we don't know if they're coming this way. Otherwise, they retreat.
Here we have it. Hyper aggression coming out from Sweden. They want to be playing all the way into them, but they got to get picks to make it worthwhile. There's one to Harry Hook. Can they get any more? They have to back off for now. Peel away, play a bit more defensive. Johnny might be caught out of position here. He's on 2 bars of HP, falling incredibly low. Backs off to the rest of his team, but now they're not going to have a main tank for a little bit of time. Tvik is just waiting behind, I think, for Harry Hook to respawn. And now the point starting to be unlocked. That's already almost 2 ticks for Spain. Getting hacks off all over the bloody place. Seeing if they can find a pick. There you go. Reinforce goes down. Spain are in a very good position to try and take this team fight even further. Tvik was just waiting in the back line. He did pick up Harry Hook, but I don't think it's going to be good enough for them. Spain have almost capped at the point when Sweden weren't even paying attention to it. And right now that might be biting in the buttocks. Nice stick coming out from Bobby Fresh. Connects it onto Sharp. Dak's going to be getting one as well. Already so much capture time. Sweden forced to try and play onto this point, but it seems too little too late. Spain using a sound barrier, moving forward. So much sustained from them, and they've capped up the point. But remember, still in overtime. And Sweden, all they got to do is keep them off that cart just once.
I really can't explain to you why Tvik was spawn camping Harry Hook instead of helping the rest of his team. They had a positional disadvantage, Reinforce was weak, he needed to be there helping them so that at least they have the numbers advantage. And instead, it was a straight 5v5 for Spain on the point. And Spain end up getting by far the better end of it. When the ultimate bank is also kind of in their favor, this Primal Rage could do a fair amount, as long as they can dodge the EMP.
Oh, Santa struck by Spain, going to be coming in, EMP in the back now. Shah wants to try and lead Sweden in. They're getting a lot of picks off the back of it. They only need a couple more to really make it work. Harry misses the sleep, and that is just enough. They discombobulate them off the cart, keep them off it, but the fact that Spain even managed to capture that first point, I think, is still quite impressive. They had a minute 20 to work with, roughly, and they pushed it a decent way into the streets. Still entirely winnable for them.
Yeah, that was impressive by Spain. I think they recognized when an opportunity presented itself. They got a lot of damage onto Reinforce very early on when he was trying to disengage from that initial very aggressive defense. And then as soon as you know that the main tank is that weak, you can just push all the way forwards. You're not worried about Sweden at that point. They can't do anything. Yeah. Reinforce has to use his leap ability just to get out of the fight. And even though they've only got 5 players, Spain just swarm in. Now, the silver lining here for Sweden is that because they did so well on that initial offense, they have 3 minutes to capture point A. And they actually did very well the first time on point A, so Spain need to think about changing their approach, and that change is going to be Poppy Fresh and the Widowmaker. If Sharp comes up top, he's going to get a bullet in his head.
I saw this though as well. Nambani first point. Difficult point, I feel like, for attackers to try and take in that regard. Almost equal distance, I think, from both spawns, for both attackers and defenders, really. So
yeah, as soon as it gets into a number of scrappy fights, spawn advantage, I think, ever so slightly favors the defenders.
We'll see what it can do. Spain, like you said, they're making a couple of changes. Poppy Fresh there on the Widowmaker. See if he can click a couple of heads. Forehead, lol. Sweden going to be moving in. They're just playing him quite patiently. I think Tvik is scouting. Now he's going to switch over to the Brigitte, so they clearly have a plan in mind. I wonder if they're going to be attempting the exact same thing again, where they're trying to assault from the high ground with Sharp on a Soldier 76. Looks like it.
It definitely looks like it. I think they're relying on the fact that Tvik can body block with this with his Brigitte shield, so that Sharp won't take too much damage. No, in fact, Sharp's all the way back. So maybe they didn't realize that Poppy Fresh was there on the Widowmaker.
There we go.
They're just going to take the straight Widow.
No. Okay. Sharp moving off.
I mean, this is indecisiveness, though, right? This is looking like they don't have too much of a plan.
You've lost one push attempt now because of all of your players switching over.
You've lost a whole minute by switching your compositions and being indecisive about it. As long as it works, it works. But so, hey, Let's see how they execute. They should just be going in for a fairly aggressive dive.
Diving in, but look at this. Johnny's immediately been chugged down. He has to back down to the low ground to actually get a couple of heals here. So he's just trying to farm up that blade, but now they're going for another re-engage. Trying to pick it off Poppy Fresh. He's going to be healed though, and the heal is definitely there from Spain. They're moving all over. The Manatee gets D-mate. Overwatch hits a nutty little shot there onto Tvik. Successful defense from Spain.
Yeah, that dive really did not go well for Sweden. Normally you want to have both tanks up on the high ground early on. Use your defense matrix to be able to keep Reinforce alive, and then you want to wait until his leap cooldown is available again, and that's when you want to dive. When Sombra's in position. But
look at this timer running down. 1 minute 30 seconds. Is Tvik even going to be able to build a blade in this time, or am I watching AKM? That's the question, isn't it? Because he's trying his hardest, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. Poppy Fresh going to be taking some pot shots at the choke point here. Johnny jumping up onto the upper left area, trying to force a couple of them down onto the low ground. Hack's coming out all over the place. Look at that, Networks has got hacked up. So Sharp's going to be collecting 1 kill, but it's going to be traded with a teammate onto Manatee. Now he's in the Nanobis being used onto Vic. Takes out Poppy Fresh. That's how the stroke might reach him, not quite. Just about dodged it. Comes in, gets another kill as well. 2 with a double. Can he go for a third? Still gonna have to back off here. He's being chased down by Limepro in the background. It seems like Sweden are going to have to come up this point.
Yeah, great hack by Sharp to open it up. And they focus the tanks of Spain. Networks and Bromas go down fairly quickly. And then Tvik got 2 really crucial picks. I've been impressed so much with his individual performance, well, for quite a while now, but in this World Cup group stage. But that's a nice little set of plays from his Genji that really established the position on point A.
I mean, he's got a blade now, at least, so he did save it. He's got it for the next team fight available to them, and it is going to be do or die time right here. We're going to be shortly going into overtime if they manage to stop it here. Spain, they're going to Transcendence to try and defend this one. A lot of pressure being put onto Vic here. He has to switch straight back, so he cannot use it aggressively, but Dak dies.
Harry
His self-destruct goes huge here. Harry Hook falls as well, so he doesn't even need to use his blade, but now he's going to unleash it. Straight out, whips out a little sword. See what he can get done with it. Networks wins the 1v1. But it's too little too late. Sweden are rolling this one in. Networks booped away in the nick of time. And that'll be it. Sweden winning map number 2.
Not even close. That was, Sweden have got to be sweating there, honestly.
They should be.
That was a very close thing that Spain kind of threw away. I don't know whether you caught it, but Vic, I think, was just randomly throwing shurikens, to spam, and ended up catching Harry Hook with a headshot, and he goes down with that Transcendence. Now, having said that, Dak had already died to the self-destruct, so overall, not the best defense that Spain could have put up, but even that was a relatively even fight. They both had a Transcendence on either side. They were really relying on the Transcendences to be traded, and then Tvik coming in with a blade afterwards. But that was close enough.
I got Reinforced on the sidelines here. He's going mental over here. He's looking at me. Mate, I got a cast. Move away. Get out of here. Listen, okay.
Sweden are hyped, though. That's what we can gather.
With that being said, we're going to go to a short break, but we'll have the rest of this match coming quite shortly, and I can also fix my shirt and my hair. Anytime now.
Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Whoa!
Overwatch World Cup. The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omened by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
Pew, welcome back to the World Cup. You were supposed to go along with it. You can't leave me high and dry like that. Twitch chat's going to be posting ha-has.
There was no plan.
Oh, no. Welcome back, anyway, to the Overwatch World Cup Thailand stop. We got Spain versus Sweden. It's the last match of the day. Obviously, you can tell that we're both very tired. Josh seems deadpan. Don't know why. Come on, mate.
I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this as well because I feel like Sweden had expectations coming into this, and both them and Australia started off a little weak in the groups. I would say Australia underperformed when they were playing against Spain, then ended up losing to Denmark, who have actually gone on somewhat of a tear, and Sweden ended up dropping both of their games. So it's nice to see both of these teams have a bit of a resurgence now as we get towards the end of the second day, because I think there are a lot of fans out there that expect a lot, especially when you've got our players on your team like Sweden does. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, from your analytical perspective, Josh, I'm going to go hard here, mate. Would you like to tell us what's going wrong with Spain?
With Spain, I think they don't have a deep enough hero pool a lot of the time to be able to deal with what Sweden are throwing at them, and I think they're making a lot of basic mistakes. I think at the end of Numbani, for example, they just misplayed their ultimates, and both of their support players died.
Okay, well, with that being said, thank you, Josh. We're going to go see what map we're heading to next. It is the Volsky Industries. It's a little bit cold,
of a change, actually.
A little bit chilly. That is a change.
We've been seeing a lot of Anubis this stage.
We have, yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why the teams are seeming to favor that right now. Maybe it's something to do with the heroes that you can play, but I don't know.
I know a lot of teams don't really like Volsky Industries because of the way it plays. It's almost like a niche map in terms of the play style. You can specialize in it to an extent as well, like a lot of teams do with Junkertown. Maybe that's why. I personally really do like the map because of its long sightlines. I feel like you see a lot more Widowmaker gameplay, really. But in this day and age of goats and Brigitas, who knows what we're going to be finding. So it's an interesting one.
I think there's been a lot of changes to the metagame since the kind of tweaks that Sombra has had in particular, because you're able to scout so much more. So you can tell where Widowmakers are and what sightlines they're going to be covering, so you can either work around them or jump on them, dive on them. In addition, just the ability to run these triple tank, triple support compositions is maybe putting people off because it can be a very snowbally map if you're pardoned the obvious terrible pun.
I didn't even see it. I'm not going to lie. You could have just not mentioned it. People will have chewed you out on Twitter.
I didn't want people to think it was actually a joke, because that would have been truly terrible.
All right, well, we'll see. Yeah, you're better than that. I'm not going to lie. You're better than that. Sweden going to be rolling out the gates. Again, triple tank, triple support, the 3-3 composition. See what they can get done. Right now, Spain are playing all on the high ground, which is actually an inherent weakness of this composition that Sweden are playing. They've got no way to really contest them off their high perch, but now they're going to be pressuring them onto the point, which does force Spain down onto the low ground, just to contest a lot of this capture point. We'll see what they can get done here. Bobby Fresh desperately searching for a pick or two. Meanwhile, Johnny's just trying to shield the rest of his team as it stands. Already one tick now for Sweden. Nice charge away. Johnny doesn't quite hit the mark, but he's going to see if he can search for a couple more. And I mean, Spain, they're not really taking the initiative here. There's a lot of poking, a lot of prodding, a lot of letting Sweden get away with a lot here, and I feel like they're just trying to build up ultimates for this next team fight. Chips has the coalescence, now he's starting to use it. This is where the dangerous position starts here for Spain, I should say, and they're going to have to use some ultimates of their own. You see the nano boost being used, forcing out a couple of the ultimates from the rest of the team. Networks trying to build up that primal rage, moving in, and now it's starting to go Spain's direction. Bobby Fresh getting that pick onto Vic, that's a good start for them. Spain's going to be using a hammer as well. They're really desperately trying to win this team fight. Earth Shadow also going to be used on top there by Reinforce, but no value being gotten out of it, and it looks like Spain should be winning this one, Josh.
Sharp threw a Graviton onto the high ground where nobody could follow up with it. Caught both supports, or rather 2 of the 3 supports, Harry Hook and Line Pro, but only managed to find the kill onto one of them. Harry Hook, who will now be coming back, but Spain are missing a lot of heals up until he returns. So it's possible that Sweden could engage fairly quickly here with the sound barrier on the rally.
Hook, honestly, as well, if they're fast enough. I think that's what they're going for. They're speed boosting Rand and trying to catch out Harry Hook. Networks recognizes this. Very smart play by him. He uses the Primal Rage to battle them away. Big fan of that. That's highly intelligent 900 IQ stuff right there.
Some wrinkle brain stuff.
Definitely got a lot of wrinkles on his noggin, I'm not going to lie, but we'll see what else they can do as Bobby Fresh moves in. Has to recall away. He's still got this Pulse Bomb as well. Now we're going to see Sweden using that sound barrier. Getting that high HP, but looks like gonna get taken down as Tvik notices where Poppy Fresh is, gets the Shield Bash onto him, takes him out of the fight. Sweden should be in a good position to take this fight now, presuming nothing goes disastrously wrong. Chips is also going to be using that Coalescence as well, just to layer it on top. A lot of cap time, bit of a questionable Graviton Surge if I do say so myself, but it does pull them together and it allows Sweden to get the cap.
Yep, takes them away from the capture zone, the contest zone, and Sweden able to...
I feel like they could have gotten away with not using it though.
It's very possible that they could have. I was wondering...
Just like Johnny sleeping.
I was wondering whether or not Sharp would try and save that. It is a very snowbally just composition in general though. Look, they've already got onto the point.
Straight onto the point,
and once you've got the positioning advantage, it's very difficult to displace the triple tag.
And Johnny reinforced. Larson has the shatter. He connects onto 2, the charge as well. He brings down Lime Pro, the rest of his team moving in. A swing and definitely not a miss as he takes out Harry Hook. And Sweden are battering their way forward now. Already multiple kills. The kill feed filled with blue. Valfad indeed. Another charge across the map. Big and counting, and is looking very, very good right now for Sweden. The Self-Destruct on top just to keep them away. They are going to get contested in the tail end. Line Pro switching to the Bastion as well. Just trying to pressure them, but nobody was able to get on the point. And that is it. The danger, right? The snowball potential of Volskaya Industries. We saw it there.
Absolutely, and it's not even really related to the ultimates. It's related to how quickly you can get there with the Lucio and how dominant you are once you actually have position on the point. All of the danger zone, if you're running triple tank, triple support, is getting to that point. Once the enemy team is forced to come and contest you, otherwise they end up losing ticks, you can easily kill them. So Sweden definitely with a plan, and that plan was run this composition until it fails. Goats ahoy.
Goats ahoy, mate. Goats ahoy. I mean,
do goats in Sweden get welfare? I don't think they do.
Are there even goats in Sweden? There must be.
There must be a goat in Sweden, Brett.
Maybe at a zoo? I don't know. Have you ever been to a Swedish zoo?
You ever seen a goat in a zoo?
Yeah, sometimes. If you go to the smaller zoos, they can't afford bigger animals.
Brent, that's a farm.
You could consider them zoos. Aren't zoos just big farms? Ooh. I'm blowing your mind here, mate. I'm spilling all sorts of knowledge.
I don't think so. I have never seen them serve up elephant steak.
I mean, I've been to a couple of like kind of zoo farms, and they got like ostriches and a bull, and you buy like cheese and strawberries.
Wasn't that your family's house?
All right, enough out of you. Listen, we're gonna keep it PG-13, lad.
Ah, absolutely. And Sweden making one crucial adjustment to this composition that they were running previously, and that is Sharp pulling out the Sombra.
Okay.
So allows them to scout much more.
Whoa, that is controversial. Never seen that before.
Gonna let them get some cleaner engages.
Yeah.
Luddy will know exactly where they're coming from, and will speed boost into them, and they'll be trying to catch them unawares around here. But all comes down to the information that Sharp can provide.
Yeah, this is the good thing about running this Sombra in this day and age. You've got the invisibility. It's permanent now. You can scout out this information, scout out the comp of Spain and what they're running in Sweden. They are, again, holding aggressively close. They're just going to be waiting for opportunities.
That's a high one.
That's a high one. Where's that going to be landing? Ooh, and it hit nobody. Okay. All right, better luck next time, pal.
Points for trying.
Points for trying, but it's actually the only reason that failed was because Spain were completely changing up their composition. They were ready and waiting, and now they're going to be switching to a 3-3 composition of their own. But here's the aggression. Networks, though, he charges Chips, takes him out of the fight. They're going to be moving in. That's a significant amount of healing that's now missing from Sweden, and this has backfired significantly. Spain are just going to ravage their way onto the point, and they should be taking this with ease.
Why was Chips Iron chilling in the doorway?
I don't know.
Waiting to get pinned by Networks?
I can't ask you the question.
I think they got caught unawares because they didn't realize that Spain were just hiding in spawn, waiting to see what composition Sweden were running.
Have you ever considered that Chips might be a high-level AI?
I absolutely have not.
Are you scared about AI?
I've met him in person.
You should be scared about AI.
He's a lovely guy. A little quiet, lovely guy. Very skilled on the
Sure,
piano.
yeah. All the characteristics of an AI, might I remind you.
Not true.
Elon Musk is worried about AI. Why aren't you worried? But regardless of that, Spain are moving forward. They got ultimates to use, and they want to use them, Nick. Go straight into the point. Snowballing it forward. The rally's going to be used. Line Pro. That's a lot of aggression, Sunshine. He's going to see what he can do. Johnny has to get value out of this. The EMP! Oh my goodness! He connects on the 4, but do they have the damage? I don't think so. It's going to be coming up all Spain right now. Harriet using the Coalescence. Networks uses his own air shadow, only connects it onto the one. Sweden desperately trying to see if they can contest this one out. Reinforce going to be the recipient of the Nano Boost as well, just about wearing off. And now we're going to see the Graviton Surge, which should be able to win Sweden out this team fight. Only a couple players remaining, and that was looking shaky for a moment now. I thought it started out so good.
It certainly did, but at the beginning of that fight, it was Line Pro came in on the Brigitte and stunned Reinforce, waiting for Networks to hit him with the Earth Shatter. Networks was at 99%.
Oh boy.
I think he called the ad an Earth Shatter and it wasn't there, and Networks couldn't do a thing.
You hate to see it, mate.
And
you
then
hate
with
to
that,
see it.
with that Brigitte shield bash on cooldown, it was all down to Reinforce, and he hit a money Earth Shatter that won the positioning battle for them. So now,
he's got another one. He's got another one. The stun comes out. Oh. Johnny's on an absolute roll. He knocks them all flying. Unfortunately, there's no full-on, but now the Graviton from Spain. They turn it around. Sound barrier on top. They got all the healing in the world. Currently, though, not getting the picks. Sharp does fall, though. So Sweden still desperately trying to hold on to this point. But it's looking like Spain are really running this one all the way to the bank once again. No capture point for the time being. But a nice swing from Networks means that South is not going to be getting any value from them. Sharp, though, close one as Harry Hook meets his maker against the walls of the internal corners. But there we have it. Spain are just holding us so close and so aggressively now. The pin comes out from them. It seems like Spain might be doing this, Josh.
It absolutely does. Only a few players left on the point. Twig, he dies with 98% of his Graviton available. They're just trying to stagger it out here. See if they can wait until Twig's alive and has that ult available. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
6 on the point right now. Ludi's desperately trying to see if he can contest this as long as humanly possible. But there's only so much one Lucio player can do. They're trying to focus him down. Now he sees the Vic. He comes back on the Wrecking Ball. But that only forces out the Graviton Surge of Spain. And Maniton is getting beaten and battered all over the place. 6 on the point. Johnny's going to get focused down. The Earth Shatter gets nilched. And it will mean the Spain cab out the second checkpoint.
Vic switched away from the Zarya that had the Graviton in order to delay the point. I think Sweden clearly realized there that that was not a fight that they were going to be able to turn, and it was just about delaying time off the clock. And I don't know whether you can really call that a win for them, but they do have an 11-second advantage in the time bank. So it's very even right now between these two teams. And the name of the game is triple tank, triple support, Brent.
Feels that way, mate. Now I know how the EU contenders casters felt. You know, they've been having to cast this for quite some time.
That's actually an interesting point, though, because a lot of these players have come from Europe. That might sound stupid when we're casting Spain v Sweden. But,
are you sure?
But that's,
are you sure about that one?
I mean, from European contenders.
Sure,
from European contenders. Because although there are a lot of OWL players in Team Sweden, you've got Sharp over there, and you've also got Ludi. And Ludi has played a huge amount of this triple tank, triple support, playing over in European contenders. And the Spanish guys are very familiar with it themselves. So that has been, I wouldn't say the only meta game or the only composition that worked well, but certainly one that a lot of European teams have been playing for a long time. So should be familiar with it. Can teach these OWL players a thing or two about how to swing your hammer, your flail, and stuff.
Watch yourself.
Very complex.
Very complicated maneuver. Holding mouse 1. Or the right trigger if you're a console user. We don't discriminate here at the Overwatch World Cup. You know, we accept all manners of players. But Bobby Fresh is going to be scouting a little bit, moving forward on the Tracer, seeing what he can get done. Going to be moving to the high ground, actually. Oh, he's a little bit cautious. He doesn't want to show himself just yet. Oh, he's spotted. Oh, he spotted the translocator. He might be trying to bait Sharp into using it, but I mean, it was a cutesy idea, but they're just losing players all over the place. Network's going down. Your main tank's out of the picture. Still, Spain looking to see if they can take positioning up to that right-hand room. And they're just kind of milling about for the time being.
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one. Spain have already committed through the major choke point. I think they want to stay there for now. But as Networks tries to recontest, he's taking a chunk of damage from Sharp, who has all the mobility he needs. Now Networks back
almost
with
has
the
a blade as well. He's just been farming it up on them because they haven't been really contesting him off this high ground. They've been taking a lot of damage just through poke and this choke point. Now to Vic, all he's got to do is wait for that shield bash to come off cooldown, and here comes the blade straight away into the back. It's a nano blade, but it might just be wasted. Instant transcendence by Harry Hook. One slash will bring down Bobby Fresh. Looks for a few more. The rest of his team are doing the damage, but Spain are turning this one evenly. If they have a Harry Hook and Networks, they get the D-Mech, and Sweden have to reset. They're going backwards. Spain going to be capping this point.
A little too telegraphed there from Sweden. Harry Hook knew exactly what was going on, and Spain had already preemptively called, you know, when this Nano Blade comes in, we're going to use our Transcendence and we're going to push across the point. And the only players that Tvik can go for are the ones with around 200 HP that he can slash and dash through to be able to get a kill before the Transcendence can heal them up. That's not going to work when Spain are already pushing.
Oh my goodness. Bobby Fresh almost mega beat there, mate. He almost fell off the map. Oh, jeez Louise. That was scary. He realized it as well. He could feel the observer camera watching him. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see what Sweden can do on the defensive side. Spain going to be leading it in now. Post bomb with the Discord Orb on reinforce. That takes him out. That's enough damage. Networks using his primal rage as well. Chips is gone. They start playing people onto this point. They're going to be able to take this. They've already got 4 in the works. And oh my goodness. Bromas almost in the South Destruct as well. 1 tick available now for Spain. Can Sweden even try and recontest this one? They're going to be moving on to the point now. Reinforce just uses his primal raise to try and contest this one out. Now Manitou moves over to the Wrecking Ball as well. They've got a decent amount of store, but they're still not getting the picks. Nobody on the side of Spain has died here. Cosmon comes out, no connection. Manitou just trying to stall it out by whipping his wee little ball around the map. Now Tvik's using the blade, but stunned him, brought down, he's backed off. Nobody's really contesting this one. They need to start to focus down these players, but it looks like Spain might have an opportunity to take this one to sail. Yet, 1 minute 45 seconds, only a single player on the point. As long as they contest this one, Josh, I feel like it's going to be going their way.
And Tvik wasn't able to do anything there with that Nano Blade. Spain continued to roll through. Sweden were not ready in the slightest, and Spain get another excellent round, completing both points. Not impressed, honestly, with how Sweden defended that point. Yes, Reinforce got stuck and went down, and that's a little unfortunate. You know, didn't quite realize that Poppy Fresh was there, but it was a nice stick. That's all fine. But Chips Iron had also died without anyone really realizing that there was somebody on him. And then the positioning from the rest of Sweden was massively spread out, and they just got picked off one by one. You can't allow that to be happening. Yeah. These guys are our level players. They should know how to back each other up, and they should know where they need to be positioned and how to help each other. Spain made that one look far too easy. Yes, Sweden have a lot of time on the clock. 4 minutes and 30 seconds to be able to do it, and they certainly could with their triple tank, triple support compositions, but Spain are in a great position to win this map now.
All right. How about I turn that frown upside down, Mr. Negative? What can you tell me about the positives of Spain here?
The positives of Spain, it was a really good engage from Poppy Fresh, actually, and they're still being able to get a lot of value out of that Tracer pick, even when they're playing into a Brigitte. I think, although it wasn't on that final point, but the first initial engagement was pretty solid. And on the other side, Tvik isn't having the same success. I keep going back to the negatives, Brent.
You do, You got to change that mindset, mate.
I'll turn my frown upside down in the next map. But for now, I'm just...
You're just negative all the time.
I'm just waiting to see what Sweden will do with this triple tank, triple support, because they rolled through last time, really well executed.
We'll see what they can do again. As you can see, they are maneuvering their way up onto the high ground once again. Just taking control of it, seeing if they can force any of the positioning away from Spain. But Spain, they seem adamant. They're not really going to be moving anywhere. Just holding on top of the hut, holding up on top of the far side. Poppy Fresh is there to just try and contest the point. See Manitou moving up to the high ground as well, seeing if he can knock any players off with his thrusters. Doesn't get value out of it, but still, they are finding the kill. Sweden, they get one onto Poppy Fresh, and that's the danger of it, right? You're running Tracer into the Brigitte. It's bound to happen eventually. A lot of cap time already for Sweden. Spain, they have to try and recontest this one. They have to get a couple of bodies onto the point. It's going to be too little too late. And Bromas ends up getting D-Mech'd as well. This is beautiful for Sweden so far.
It certainly is. They're building up to their ultimates as well, but it's just...
2 ticks.
Spain can't contest this. If they're going to, they have to. They have to just throw their bodies on the point. But they've only got a couple of players alive, and Sweden have already taken the right engagement.
And here's the danger, right?
Much cleaner than last time as well, actually.
Much cleaner, but the danger now for Spain is the fact that Shark is sitting on this Graviton Surge almost. Tvik ends up using the rally prematurely, and they're already on the point. They've already got a tick, man. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. The Graviton Surge is going to be used early here. They need to try and bring down Networks. Just trying to get maximum value out of it. Now we see the Transcendence by Harry Hook. Just trying to keep the rest of his team alive, but it might not be enough as we see Chips using that Coalescence, doing a lot of damage, keeping his team away And a boost on Poppy Fresh as well, who's actually switched over to a projectile hero for what seems like the first time in quite some time. Stunned down onto the ground there by Johnny, but Reinforce going to have that soundbite laid on top. Nobody's on the point. 98.8%. Earth Shadow laid down by Johnny as well. Charge comes out. He's got the kill. And that is that. I mean, this is just Snowball City, apparently.
Yeah, that's brutality coming out from Sweden. Very well executed. They know exactly where they want to be. And Spain did not have an answer. I was almost expecting Spain to go over to something like a Junkrat perhaps, maybe a composition of their own that's got triple tank but with a Reaper to be able to deal with some of that early aggression.
Yeah.
Maybe a Sombra to be able to deal with things. There are answers that you can try, but I think now we're getting a bit of a flavor of why teams have opted away from Volskaya, is that the triple tank, triple support compositions, if you're not comfortable with it yourself, and the enemy team is, they are insanely powerful. The snowball potential is ridiculous onto point B.
Well, so far we're getting a little bit of a teaser from Sweden's composition, and we're seeing Ludi actually running the Mercy for a short while. Sharp also on the Widowmaker as well. Thoughts on this one? I mean, this is what we generally saw out of Volskaya Industries when we were watching it in the Overwatch League, but obviously times change.
That's true.
Patches hit.
Well, I think they're looking at Spain and what they ran in the previous round, and they realized that they had opted away from the triple tank, triple support. But even if they do run it, they should be able to play on the high ground and get Sharp in such a position where he can start attacking the squishies, the people with only about 200 HP, the supports, for example. So I was surprised that Spain didn't try and run a Widowmaker of their own on Poppy Fresh on the defense. I think it can be very strong.
Oh, Maniton was just getting a bit of early intel there on the roof of that house, and Sharp, that's a damage boosted body shot kill straight onto Poppy Fresh. Damage done. See you later, Sunshine. Back to the spawn with you. And Spain might be opting to change things up. No, they're just waiting around the corner, so they're going to stick with this composition. Just going to wait for Poppy Fresh to come back. And he has respawned. He's back with the rest of his team, so I'm interested to see what kind of engage they go for here.
It's still going to be a bit of a difficult one. To be able to escort Dak, Harry Hook, and Poppy Fresh in without any of them dying to Sharp might be a bit difficult.
Oh, grapple hook was used onto the high ground, but still Spain are just taking it easy, taking it slow. A reminder, they've only got 50 seconds left to really get any damage done and try and capture these points up. So the pressure is on for them right now. Poppy Fresh is losing this 1v1. He is getting absolutely obliterated. Vic whacks him in the back of the cranium. Good day, sir. See you later, Poppy Fresh. And with that, Spain, again, another reset. They're really taking their sweet time with this, much to my dismay.
Oh, Networks moving in behind as well. Very telegraphed where they're going to be coming from. So this engagement should be predicted. The positioning adjusted from Sweden. Sharp's got a really nice sight line, and Vic is harassing Poppy Fresh the entire time.
He's really winning out a lot of these 1v1s. They know no recall is onto Vic. He doesn't have that on cooldown. He backs off to the rest of his team and is going to be peeled up. We'll see what else he can do here. Pulse bomb in hand.
Infrasight
going
as well.
for it. Infrasight, a lot of information. Pulse bomb comes down. No kill. Speed boost to disengage this one, but Spain now looking to try and finally get onto the point. They have to. It's overtime. It's go time. It's ticking down. Poppy Fresh just about resets the meter. We'll see what else they can do. They're just playing this very patiently around the corner. Nothing to contest Sharp on the high ground, and that gives Sweden free reign to just move straight into them. See Sharp taking all the shots he wants in the world. One headshot is going to be insta-killing these players through the Transcendence, so that might not even help them, and there you go. Damage boost, Discord Orb, headshot straight onto Dak. He's finding these picks right now. Sweden in a very solid position here, Sideshow, to take this point away from Spain.
Absolutely, all positioning based. You can see there, Sharp, it wasn't like he was going crazy. That wasn't some unbelievable performance from Sharp. He was missing a lot of his shots, but they've got no one to contest it, and he's just getting free damage, free potential for picks into them. Spain have to play a little scared, and then they're going to get picked off. So I think that was well coordinated from Sweden. They knew exactly how to play around a potential offense with little time left on the clock. We'll see if Spain make any similar adjustments.
This is the kind of knowledge that I was expecting, really, from Sweden, I think, as well. Given the fact that they've got so many experienced players, being able to read that and what Spain are going to be running, the sort of composition-wise, what their mistakes were in the previous round, this is what you come to expect from a team like this. So it's nice that they're stepping up, but you know, a little bit too late in, I think, the tournament for my liking, realistically, after they've lost these matches. But
too late in the series.
Too late in the series. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, they can still.
Oh, sorry.
Still
Yes, of course. No, I thought you were talking about Spain there for a moment.
No, I was talking about Sweden. But yeah, it's nice that they are turning around now. I mean, this is where, if they are going to be making a comeback, you know, trying to qualify for BlizzCon, this is where it begins, obviously. So it's nice that they are turning around now. Still, Spain are going to be opting for similar strategy to what Sweden were going for. They're going to be hiding around the corner, nice and close. Now, under Bromas is also going to be scouting out where exactly they're going. You see, again, holding close, I should say, onto the high ground.
Now, the issue with this is that they don't have a Sombra that's going to be invisible to scout. Bromas is going to give away where they're hiding as soon as he comes back to them. So he's not even actually scouting for positional information. He's just going to back off towards the point, make them think that they're all
That's
holding
smart
it.
by Bromas. You see that? He's pre-firing the choke point, but Tvic's got the information now, which means he can just switch straight back to the Brigitte. Tvic knows exactly where Spain are holding, so Spain, they've disengaged. They're already back onto the point. The jig is up, they got to go back, and now Sweden, they have free reign to push through this choke point. They're not going to get caught off guard. Very smart play by Tvic to be able to spot that.
And Sweden moving over to triple tank, triple support, just playing them at their own game. And Spain now, instead of playing the high ground, are just going to mirror the composition. Comes down to who can play around that Brigitte better, who can get the charges.
Vic's playing very interactive gameplay right now, just holding down that mouse one as hard as he humanly can. And it seems to be working out in their favor. They already get the teammate onto Bromas. So much cap time already. Nobody's on the cap. It's so close to getting that only take for Sweden to take the map. Spain need to contest this. They need to start winning this one out. They need some bodies on the point. Reinforced falling very low. Now we see the rally starting to come out, but it's going to be a quick graviton, and they're all off the point. There you go. Textbook stuff. Johnny's pumped. The rest of Sweden are just being Swedish.
Absolutely. The emotional heart of the team.
He's
there.
been in America too long, I'll tell you that one.
I think he has. The rest of his team, like,
the rest of his
calm
team.
down.
They're just, Johnny, please, please,
You're
come on.
embarrassing me. Dad, you're embarrassing. Sharp with a really well-placed graviton at the end there. Sucks everybody off the point, but you can see that either way it went, that was going the way of Sweden.
Yeah.
They had already bullied all of that positioning. A nice aggressive charge at the beginning, actually, from Reinforced to be able to push the rest of Spain kind of back, away. And at that point, they had all the cap time. They nearly got a full tick before Spain even realized what was going on. So Spain keeping it close, and certainly we saw a lot of rounds there on Volskaya, but in the end, Sweden were playing the better game.
Yeah, well, it's got into the situation now where I think it's very unlikely for Spain to really move much further into the tournament. But we do know they're having a lot of fun, actually. We've seen them at the pool quite a lot, haven't we?
That's
You
true.
know, they've been jumping on each other's shoulders,
Swimming
screaming
like
at
fish.
each other in Spanish, swimming like fish as well, splashing me when I'm by the side of the pool, just trying to soak some of the overcast rays on my pale complexion. It doesn't work.
I don't believe you've ever been outside, man.
I try, but it's hard, you know. The outside's scary, Josh.
It is.
It's a scary world out there, mate. It's scary. But, yeah, we've got one more map to come. I'm looking forward to it. Should be an interesting one, you know. But Sweden, they're going to be breathing a sigh of relief, I think, after that one.
They are going to be breathing a sigh of relief, but this map is actually really important for Sweden because if they want to start the comeback now and actually qualify for BlizzCon, it's not enough just to win this series. It's not enough just to win this series 3-1. They need the map differential to be massive because so far in the entire tournament, they have only won 4 maps. So Rialto, the map that we're going to next, is going to be absolutely pivotal for getting that map differential as high as possible for Sweden so that they can overtake one of those competitors and end in second.
Yeah, very important. Like you rightfully mentioned there, Josh. Thank you for mentioning that one. So there is still a lot to play for here for Sweden. Definitely need to be taking this one. Rialto has been a bit of a finicky map, I feel like, in terms of the way teams run it. Because of the way the first point can be, where it's quite difficult to attack into it. It's quite favoured towards the defender's side when they're trying to push through that second choke point. It can be an odd one for some of these teams, but we see some interesting strategies being ran from a lot of them as well. A lot of very aggressive forward holds, a lot of interesting compositions, some double sniper as well is tossed into the mix, but Sweden, I'm interested. I don't think they're going to be going for reinforced Genji, as much as that would be entertaining.
Vase.
That is lovely. Is that a? That's yeah. No, that is definitely a lamp.
Is it a dress?
Can we go back, please, Observer? Can we have a look at that one again?
No,
I don't.
they're not going to listen to you, are they?
Ah, unfortunate. Okay.
If it was down to you, you'd be wandering around the map just looking at various
just looking at the objects. I mean, the Blizzard guys, they put a lot of effort into the ways these maps are designed.
They should be appreciated.
I do appreciate it. Like, look at this design in this room here. Completely different from all the other designs. You know, I'd have that in my room if it was big enough.
You'd have that room in your room.
I know, I'd have like the furniture in it. You know?
I see.
It's like, it looks quite modern. It looks like, you know, quite quite sleek.
I don't know whether it's supposed to look modern. I think it's supposed to look like Renaissance Italy.
This is the future, though.
That
It's
is
like
the-
it's a
it is.
blend of like the modern, futuristic, and
The old and the new.
the old and the new. You know, the old and the new. But enough about the old and the new. Speaking of old, Reinforce. Coming out the gate. Swing and a miss that one. We're going to see what they can do as they come out the gate. And they are going to be running Tvik on the Sombra. So getting that information, Tvik is actually on our very wide flank right now, searching for opportunities for them to try and get a pick or two. He might be going for it on Harry Hook. He's just waiting. I do know exactly where they are. So Sharp is also on the Widowmaker. He's going to be up against Poppy Fresh in those Widow duels. Going to be seeing if they can compete against each other. Playing very cautious right now. The high ground being contested.
Now, Widowmaker Sombra is a fairly popular combination
dear.
in this current meta. And the reason for that is that Tvik is going to be able to provide a lot of intelligence to Sharp about where Poppy Fresh is, if he's going on any crazy flanks. Sharp should really never get shot in the back of the head like you would occasionally see with the Overwatch Widowmaker duels where it was a Widowmaker and a Tracer. So Sharp should have a massive advantage here
Oh my goodness.
as long as a flying line pro doesn't just land in his face.
This aggression is exactly what you kind of need from Rialto as well, though. You get so many opportunities to defend this first checkpoint. I'm pleased to see what Spain are going for here, but the question is, are Sweden going to be changing anything up? Tvik seems to be going back to spawn. Is he going to be making any adjustments? I mean, he was close to an EMP, but he
Gave away
feels like...
70% of an EMP there to make the full adjustment over to triple tank, triple support.
Yeah.
I feel like that composition certainly could have worked for them. Well, there
Ooh,
we go.
ay, 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 caramba, that's not too good. It's probably what Dak's going to be saying as well after pulling off a double environmental kill like that. That is some nut stuff.
I think now we can officially say Reinforce is washed up.
I like how you tap me on the arm to say, listen, I got a good one here. I got a good one. Let me have the mic for a second. Let me have the mic. We're going to see Sweden go for another attempt as they're moving back in. Charge from Johnny. Johnny boy, see what he can get done here. The high ground is being contested by Spain here. It's difficult to get any value out of this Earth Shadow when they're just holding so far forward or so far up onto the high ground. Until they jump down, you're really not going to be able to get anything done. But is this a boostio? I believe it is. It's probably like the 5th one we've seen of the tournament. Disaster strikes. Oh my goodness, that is not ideal.
Certainly isn't. Chips Iron hasn't had his best performance, I think, over the course of this tournament. Something to do with the team as well, not being able to be protected, but that's
staying on the Ana.
That's one of those
switch him.
little mistakes that ends up happening.
Yeah. And now Spain, I mean, you look at their ultimates, what they got. Look at that. 3 available, I should say. Not 4, I can count, contrary to popular belief.
And now Tvik has to bring up his EMP again.
Yeah.
Bring it up like it's a child. Build it up.
Build up that EMP, which he switched off shortly, just in the previous team fight. But you can see Poppy Fresh getting really just jumped on there by Sharp. Ends up getting a pick, so Spain going to be trying to lead it in with their own Transcendence. But I mean, they're not really getting the picks that they deserve for the amount that they're investing into this one. Still, now it's time to go their way. Sharp, though, desperately trying to clutch it up on that Tracer. Not doable, though. For now, it looks like Spain are in a very comfortable position, Sideshow.
They definitely are. And to go back to what we were saying at the beginning of this series, when Spain is playing aggressively, Sweden are struggling to deal with it. And that seems to be the case again here. Sweden have not had pressure taken off them, not had free space, and they haven't been able to make decisions quickly enough to deal with Spain's aggression.
Do or die time now. 25 seconds on the clock for Sweden to get anything done. But again, Line Pro is going to be leading in the charge. Reinforce goes down again. Is Sharp going to be going for another switch? There's 15 seconds remaining here. Are they really going to be switching up any players? Not quite. They're just regrouping, resetting. Johnny has to go. Right, now he's on the Winston, I should say. He's been on it for quite some time, but we're going to see what they can do. Last ditch push, 4 seconds in. Going to touch the cart, so the overtime is triggered here. Let's see what else they can do. Spain playing it cautious. Again, just poking, just seeing what they can get done. But again, Johnny falling very low. Sharp from on high with the pulse bomb. Is going to get the team that gets brought down a result. Now the self-destruct straight into the choke. Nobody's going to be falling here. Linebro using his shield to block it up, but it seems like it is going Sweden's way. They should be able to capture this one outside, Joe, but again, it's a bit tricky. This point can be a hard one.
It can be, but they've taken down enough players right now that I don't think Spain is going to be able to recontest.
You say that, they're looking for it, mate. The EMP comes in. Sweden realize they have to be going full on aggression if they want to be trying to take this point. The hack up onto Bromas, going to be meaning they get that teammate nice and easy. And there we have it. They do cap it in the nick of time. think Sweden was sweating once again there.
Yeah, a little bit. And if Tvig hadn't been aggressive with his EMP, it was Harry Hook and Line Pro waiting around the corner with a Transcendence available and a very healthy Brigitte that is difficult to get off that car. Instead, Sweden able to deal with them with Tvig's first EMP of the map so far, due to all of that swapping.
Look at this aggression now by Spain, though. This is something that they've been doing well this map, at least. Playing around the high ground, going to start to try and contest them a little bit early here, but they've jumped immediately on Bromas. This is the initiation that Sweden really need to be going for. But is there any contestants in the back line? Not quite. This is an issue that Sweden... Oh, into the Drake! Manhattan, next level plays Sunshine, thrusts him down. And now we're going to see Johnny using the tail end of that primal rage to get a bit of damage done, but he has pause bombed up by Poppy Thrush, so Spain still able to defend this one despite the kills they were getting early on.
That's true, and Spain hanging on to both of their defensive support ultimates. Spain have really stepped it up here.
They have, yeah.
I think Sweden are struggling. They don't quite know how to deal with it. Perhaps they haven't practiced Rialto very much. This, of course, is Spain's map pick. But overall, I don't think Sweden can let this get to their heads. It would be nice for them to be able to win this map, but overall, the series is complicated. You've got to stay positive for the next
Oh my goodness, and they're just going to collapse onto them there.
Oh, Johnny's taking the canal run.
Johnny can't even get back up, mate. He's trapped on the boat. Johnny, get up, mate, get up. Your team needs you. Still, they're getting a kill or two. Networks ends up falling 100 energy on Sharp. Need to be keeping this guy alive right now as he's leading it in for his team. Going to be getting a couple of those right clicks up. 50% to the Graviton Surge. Sweden, that actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to for them.
Yes, but Harry Hook and Dak both did not use their large ultimates to be able to contest that point. So they have them available now as they approach checkpoint B. With only 30 seconds remaining, Spain have built it up for one last enormous fight. Gypsyon engages quickly with his Warrior ultimate. They're trying to take advantage, take the initiative. But both of these ultimates from Dak and Harry Hook still just sat in the back.
Yeah, they're just holding on to them desperately right now. Sharp is close to this Graviton, 100 energy to his name almost. He's putting in a lot of work for the rest of his team, but Johnny again left out to dry. This seems to be a reoccurring issue for him on this squad, but they're finally going to be building up this Graviton Surge. Now let's see what Sharp can get done with it. Use it just onto the one player, Harry Hook. Transcendence going to be really not going to be getting much done, but he is going to stay alive in the midst of it. Now Sweden using that sound barrier, moving their way forward, but Spain out to back. It's going to be the 6-man sound barrier for them. Self-destruct sent straight up into the stratosphere, no value being gotten for them, but still no casualties on the side of Spain as well. Now we're starting to see the mines being laid down. Sweden are struggling to realistically stop them. Spain are really carrying this one forward at full momentum now, Sideshow.
Yeah, great planning from Spain. They use both of these ultimates. Harry Hook forced to use his Transcendence early, but they can't get the kill on him even afterwards, thanks to all of this armor and this triple support duo that we've seen so much from Spain is carrying them to a victory on the defense. Having said that, can they push?
Can they push, yeah.
It's a very defensively favored map, and I don't think Sweden will feel too bad about that. We've seen a lot of teams get stalled out somewhere near checkpoint B. But just to talk a big picture for a moment, I think Sweden are looking more promising in this match, in this series overall. Yeah. But there's still a lot to work on, right? If they want to be able to qualify for BlizzCon, this is the last game of the day today. They've got to go into tomorrow and face up against Denmark and really bring their A game. Because that game and the game against Thailand, honestly, with how they're performing today, neither of those matches are going to be easy in the slightest. And at the moment, it does seem like Sweden are relying on this triple tank, triple support as a bit of a crutch. And even then, it's not going perfectly well all of the time. So, adjustments to be made from the Swedish roster.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for me personally, I want to see a lot more sort of coordination going on between the backline of Sweden and essentially it feels like a lot of the time they're being jumped on. There's nobody there to answer the call. I don't know if Chips is calling in the first place or what, but it seems like a lot of the time the support line of Sweden is feeling a little bit weak at the moment in terms of the amount of support they're receiving, but also the front line as well. Johnny is being focused down a lot of the time. There doesn't really seem to be a lot of resources poured into him sometimes. So
they need to light the beacons, Brent.
They do. Light the beacons, Gondor calls for aid. You got to fit in a Lord of the Rings reference here and there, you know.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. We'll see if any teams dive greedily and deep, much like the Dwarves, but yet to be seen. Not a lot of dive being played in this match. A lot of tanks, though, instead.
And this is interesting from Team Sweden. Running the Pharaoh on the defense, which is a fairly popular way of dealing with it. Teams will often, or dealing with the triple tank, triple support, which they're at least expecting triple support to come out from Spain here. A lot of teams will run the Widowmaker on the offense to try and put pressure on Twixfara early on in the fight. But that relies on them spotting it out early on and Poppy Fresh even being comfortable with it. But it does look like going back to spawn at the moment, they're just figuring out what composition they want to run.
Yeah, I mean, Poppy Fresh switches to McCree, so they're going to be trying to deal with Tvik on the Pharah that way.
Decent compromise. You've got a bit more help on the floor.
Actually, back to the Sombra now. Oh no, I see. My bad. Sharp has been on the Sombra. Getting a bit confused there. I am an old man, getting on a bit. But we're seeing what they can do here. Flashbang up top does not connect. A lot of pressure being put into them with these rockets. Tvik is doing a decent job of sorting them out. Ooh.
That was great onto Ludi, so that's forced him back. Another headshot on Tvik as well. Outside the fall-off range, so not doing too much damage. And
this is what I mean.
Hung out to dry a little there as well.
Yeah, again, there's been a lot of pressure being put onto Reinforce, but they're going to resurrect him up, which means they've got their main tank back. And they are finding the picks as well. Tvik is finally getting the kills, these damage-boosted rockets. If he hits any directs, remember, there's no damage fall-off. They do full damage. So you can really start to do a number on a lot of the players of Spain here if you're not careful.
And those roofs, they're indestructible, so it doesn't matter if he shoots those. Both Harry Hook and Dak building up to their ultimates. Absolutely pivotal on the defense. Here's the EMP though. Is there a follow-up? Both of the teams playing aggressive because they realize now's the time to engage. Yeah,
Tvik's going to be holding onto that barrage for the time being. Seeing if he can wait for the perfect moment, just waiting for a couple of these ultimates to really just sort of wear off. He knows the rally is there, but it seems like Spain are just kind of running over them, straight over the cart. Bromas being pressured a little bit here, but forced to rotate himself around, and it is going Spain's way in the end. Felt like it was going to be going that way. Sweden weren't really applying a lot of pressure. The good news is, however, they will get one more defense, and they've got a lot of ults. No! They're switching up their composition completely, which means they're only going to be keeping the Nano Boost and Manhattan Self-Destruct. They're
this is fine though.
Entirely.
They have one more opportunity to defend point A here, and they think they can get the full hold. 2 minutes remaining. Tweak is caught from behind. They actually get the trade with both of the Diva Bombs, but Reinforces in deep. Nano Boost has been used as well, so doing a huge amount of damage, but he's so weak.
He needs the heals, man. He needs the heals. He can't keep getting away with this one. Spain are really doing a number on Sweden right now, and with the rest of these picks that are going their way, this can't. All right, okay, Ludi. All right, Val.
Okay, well, that's an interesting way of trying to stall the cart. That's some high-level Overwatch. You watching that? Wins told you to sit on the cart, not behind it.
Just like my diamond games. Thank you, Ludi. All right, okay. Nice to see, nice to see. But, yeah, I mean, Spain now, they're pressing them forward. I mean, you were a fan of the composition switch, and now Sweden have just switched straight back to realistically what they were running before.
That's true, but I think Sweden made a good decision because if they win that fight, they're in a great position to full hold with only 2 minutes remaining. It didn't work, but they rolled the dice and they came out on the worst end. Now, they've still got a long way to go before they're in a dangerous territory. They can force out a couple of fights here, maybe get the Transcendence out from Harry Hook, but at the moment, it's a bit of a dance of positioning.
Yep, they're going to start playing aggressive here, but Spain going to be being quite proactive. Primal Rage used by Networks, just going to be pushing a lot of these players from Sweden back out of the choke point, and look at this damage cleaving through them. Sharp is getting a lot of heals to try and keep him up. In fact, they finally turn the fight around. Networks goes down. This is ideal for them. No more main tank for Spain means no more space for them, and Sweden can start to play a little bit more far forward. The Self-Destruct Shark's lucky to not take a lot more damage from that one. Ends up surviving the explosion. Probably Rush going to be using that pulse bomb as well, but no value being gotten. It looks like Sweden are in a comfortable position to hold.
They certainly are. Nice play from Sweden as well, because the ultimates were not in their favor. And now they have 2 defensive support ultimates. They've caught some players out as well. These are going to be bad staggers for Team Spain. 2.5 minutes on the go. Oh, hello.
Still jumping on the car. I don't know what line pro. I mean, okay, all right.
These are all terrible staggers here for Team Spain. It's going to take so long for them to regroup as 6 when they died again and again and again. Sharp just getting in a little bit of cheeky free damage as Spain go fully over to the triple tank, triple support once again. Both of these teams relying on it so much, and both of these teams at the bottom of the table.
Oh my goodness! Big boops coming out from Sweden, and they're finding the kills from it anyway.
Huge plays.
Oh my word.
Phenomenal. Ludi's just had an eye on that the entire time.
He's like, I'm seeing it. The play of the game's mine at the end. He wants those environmental kills.
I think some of them got saved by the canal boat and just
They
had
did,
to be
yeah.
moved to get in again.
Yeah, that was a combined effort there. We're going to get a nice little replay of what just happened there. I want to see this one again. Straight into them. Beautiful. And some are unnecessary, but we'll roll with it. Don't worry. It's okay.
That was a victory, a celebration.
Celebration soundbar, you
It's
know.
like, woo!
Like, guys, I did so well. Don't worry. Oh, well, let's see what Spain can do now. There is a minute on the clock here, and realistically, Sweden actually have 2 defenses from this position, so they are golden right now to win out this map, which is what they're looking for. A reminder at home, they need to win all 4 maps to really stand a chance. Samurai is going to be used by Sweden, trying to sustain themselves through this team fight. Ludi taking a lot of damage. Reinforced now going to be using a Primal Rage as well, just knocking these players back, seeing if he can get any of them into the drink. Oh my goodness, the charge by Networks. He saves himself and he gets Ludi as well.
What is
that is madness. How do you come out with plays like that? Spain look like they are in control of this fight, but Sharp is pushing them away into the corridors with that Deadeye.
Rally has been used by Team Sweden here as well, and they really haven't had many casualties. Reinforced's done a decent job of being able to delay the cart, and they still have to come through so many choke points here on the offense. With only 30 seconds remaining, they have massive ultimates available though.
Network's going to be going for the charge. He ends up missing it, but he does have this Earth Shatter. He needs to get value out of it. The bubble's laid down, the bubble's deleted. Everyone from Sweden disengages. They recognize the win condition right now for Spain, and it's getting dicey for them, but Sharp, he might have just come out clutch. Manhattan does fall, though, straight into the drink. Whip shot away. Networks, though! It might be his turn, no! Saved in the nick of time. Now we see the Graviton Surge being used by Poppy Fresh, but there is no follow-up. Now Sweden using that sound barrier. Right, trying to save this one. Chips also has a Transcendence, so this could still be salvageable for them, Sideshow.
It certainly could, but Sweden still with that Transcendence available. Look at this! Networks with a crazy 90-degree Earth Shadow that catches absolutely no one. The overtime is there, the little golden box of victory right within Spain's sights, but Sharp shuts back down at the very least.
Still doable for them. Broma's going to be desuited here. It looks like it's going all Sweden right now. Manhattan switching over to the Hammond as well, just to get back onto the point in time. And there you have it. Sweden breathe a sigh of relief as they win the series 4-0, and look at how happy Johnny is. The gentle giant, as I like to call him. Right now, I probably wouldn't go near him. I'd probably be a little bit scared. But all in all, I think Sweden can be pleased. It's looking better than it has in the past. Still a couple of stuff they need to fix. But this is the beginning. This is where they needed it to go right for them if they wanted a chance of qualifying.
Absolutely. Reinforce is a dangerous animal when the blood of the competition flows through his veins. Sweden do look a lot better. They've looked dejected. I know you guys can't see behind the scenes here, but as they've been wandering around, those 2 losses to China and Australia, I think, really dampened what they were expecting coming into this stage. And the win over Spain, although Spain do look like, in my opinion, the lowest team that we have here at Bangkok, I wasn't expecting them to do very well. I thought they'd be at the bottom of the table. But
they have
Sweden,
impressed me to a reasonable degree.
yes,
as well,
actually, Spain have played a lot better than I was expecting from them. Sweden have played worse than I expected from them. So it is still good for Team Sweden that they've been able to come out with a clean 4-0 victory here, but they have a much harder job tomorrow. If they want to get to BlizzCon, it's very difficult for them. They've still got some difficult paths ahead.
Yeah, well, we've been giving Johnny a lot of smack talk from behind the scenes, but I believe he is now on the floor of a nice little interview with Zoe.
He is indeed. I've Reinforced from Team Sweden joining me for a quick post-game interview. First and foremost, congratulations to you and your team. I'm so happy to see you happy. I actually can't stop smiling.
You're just laughing. You're just so happy.
Yeah, every now and then I actually smile. I know, usually I'm very scary, but today is not the day. Now, you started the day off with, I have to call it, a crushing defeat against Australia. How did you and your team actually manage to keep that PMA up going into this next series?
Well, we were incredibly frustrated, you have to say, getting 4-0'd by Australia, of course. But I met Mickey in the corridors, and we looked each other in the eye, and I said, now's the time to be happy, okay? Because at the end of the day, anything can happen in this group. Okay, we're playing Denmark tomorrow. Maybe we'll, hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping so, at least we'll beat them. And then maybe we have a chance, of course, of getting out of group. So it's not over yet, and you just gotta keep being positive. Like, I'm not happy as Mickey, but I'm at least showing energy on stage, and I'm like, you know, trying to motivate my team. And I mean, they're loosening up, you know, when I'm showing some emotion. So you know, maybe next year I'll win the Dennis Sawolka award, you know, for being positive. But you know, that's what I'm going for, because it's not looking like it to win any World Cup anytime soon. So you know,
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. Also, it takes more than one day of happiness to actually win an award. So you have to keep that one up. You have to keep that one up. But yeah, thanks, Mickey. You give up already? Okay, that was a quick one. Anyway, let's talk about the game we just watched. Spain, they managed to actually throw off Denmark yesterday with, I guess I'm just going to call it the Spain comp, for lack of a better word. It's a bit unusual given the current meta. Did that force your team to actually have to switch up your composition or your general game plan?
No, not really. Of course, we watched the footage yesterday after our match versus China, and you know, went through what are they doing, you know. So we had some ideas going into the game. Obviously, we had a prepared strategy for Volskaya, but that didn't work out because they scouted it. So we had some things up our sleeves in preparing for Spain. But obviously, I think that overall we're really comfortable playing pretty much anything. So we're looking at what they play in the game, and we're adapting. We played multiple compositions on Rialto, so we're just trying to adapt in the moment. And obviously, we're preparing for all the teams. So, you know, tomorrow, Thailand, we're preparing for you guys. You guys are next, okay?
Oh, you're bold saying that in front of the Thailand crowd, but they cheered for you, so that is a bit confusing. But that's okay. That's okay. Johnny, thank you so much. I'm super, super happy you guys managed to end the day on a high note, and I can see you are too, and so are our two lovely casters. So one last time today, I'm going to send it over back to Brent and Sideshow.
Thank you for that, Zoe. Yeah, I'm so pleased to see that Johnny's smiling. You know, he's been looking. You know, he's been dragging his knuckles around
He's dead
the arena.
inside.
He's feeling a bit dead inside. I'm happy for him. You know, this is where it begins. This is where I said, if they're gonna start to qualify for BlizzCon, anything can happen. This is where it starts.
I personally love it that he's looking up to Mickey as a bastion of positivity, even when everything around you is burning and absolutely going to pieces, because I think both of the teams are going to have similar levels of success.
Okay, all right, let's take this away from you because you're being way too out of line, mister. Let's go to the highlights. We got a couple of highlights to roll through. I want to recap this match just in case you're just tuning in. Instead of watching the VOD, let's watch this instead. You know, you want to watch us commentate over these replays. It was an interesting game. I think Spain, I really would like to talk about Spain a little bit more because these guys coming in, I had minimal expectations for them. We had a little team chats as well just before the event began. And what struck me about Spain was how positive the entire team was. It seems like it is just one big group of friends playing together. And it shows in and out of the game as well from when we've seen these guys just walking around. Very happy gents. And all in all, I've been honestly surprised by the level of play that they've been producing across the board in the World Cup at this stage.
They've been fairly decent. They have definitely relied a lot on Blind Throws Rihita and Poppy Fresh's Tracer, and they're a very readable team, I would say. But they've also been relatively coordinated with how they play the triple tank, triple support compositions, and they had some decent dives that came out as well on Barney, for example.
Yeah.
They do end up getting outclassed by most of the rest of the teams here. You've got to say. Like,
do you think they beat the Shanghai Dragons?
No. No, I do not.
Oh, okay. Shanghai, if you're listening, that's where you get your win. There you go. Start playing against Team Spain.
Next season, don't worry.
Next season.
Don't worry. China's doing pretty well here anyway, Brent, so
that's true.
There's nothing to worry about in that situation. And I think for Sweden, they've got to look forwards towards tomorrow. And again, it was a weird match though for me because so much of this triple tank, triple support was played without either of the teams trying to really counter it. That was lovely though. Absolutely destroyed Sharp there. But a lot of the teams were just trying to mirror the same compositions.
Yeah.
Denmark aren't going to do that. Thailand aren't going to do that as well when we're looking at the upcoming games for Sweden tomorrow. So I think it's going to feel very different when Sweden try and take on their upcoming games to get that second place. And of course, they also rely on those teams at the top not getting extra wins. They have to hope that both Australia and China lose out.
It's a tricky scenario for them. It really is. But let's have a look at today's results from the day. Some interesting ones. I think Denmark really showing up strong against Australia and China taking it to the distance against them. So it's Denmark are looking, honestly, like, again, this is the team that I was talking about as a bit of a dark horse. They're looking strong, man. They're looking like a real contender.
They definitely are. And in some senses, I was a little surprised that China was able to come out with that victory against them from behind later on in the day. And Australia managed to recover a little as well, because after they lost to Denmark and they'd looked a little shaky against Spain yesterday, I was worried. I thought that their matchup against Sweden was going to be incredibly close. Now, spoiler for anybody who can't read the 4-0 there, it was not close. Australia absolutely stomped them. So looking forwards to tomorrow. That's another team that has started to recover a little like Sweden, potentially looking better.
Yeah, well, if we have a look at the standings as well, see where these teams are stacking up, China and Australia right on top. China currently 3-0, so they're sitting high and mighty. Australia also just lagging ever so slightly behind them, along with Denmark. When it comes to that map differential, that's really where it's starting to come into play as well. So interesting matches. I feel like it's still open-ended. It's going to require a bit of miracle for Sweden or any of the other teams as well to realistically qualify.
Well,
Mainly looking at Sweden.
The other teams are not able to qualify.
Are you sure, Josh? Are you sure? Can we not go back in time?
I can do maths, Brent.
I cannot.
Have you got?
I actually
Have you
can't
got a
really.
DeLorean? Are we able to go back in time?
Unfortunately not. I don't drive. You know this.
There we go then.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
you are a useless human being.
There we go.
So
But
it's been a good day of Overwatch overall. I think it's going to be a better day as well tomorrow. We'll see who the second place team is. Like you said, it's totally open between China, Denmark, and Australia.
that's it. We got one more day of Overwatch still waiting for us tomorrow. Do not miss the action. We'll be back around sometime. I'm actually not too sure which time. I know it's going to be the morning. I know I've got to wake up at 10 a.m. We'll see you around then, but we'll see you then as well, because you do not want to miss it in the slightest.